Holy smokes, what a weekend. I gotta tell you, oh my God, I couldn't keep up with all the things going on. It's Monday night. It's quite late now as I'm recording this, but by now you have seen the protesters at the Chrystia Freeland liberal leadership launch, and you have seen, let me take it back a bit, you have seen the girl that started off the whole thing, this Asian girl that they got to come out and open the damn thing. I started to watch it. She was so boring, I had to click away. Speak.
My name is Subin Sung, and I'm here today to support Chrystia.
Okay. And it was at that point that I had to click away. I was like, I can't watch this. Who is this girl? I mean, I understand being nervous, of course, right? I have a little bit of sympathy, but what is going on here? Sympathy is wearing thin. By now, we've seen all the crazy stuff that's unfolded since then. We've seen all the crazy protesters. Now, of course, I am all for protesting, legitimate protesting, because that's what living in a Western civilized democratic nation is all about. But when I look at these people, I don't know what to think here. They look like actors a little bit to me. Freeland. Freeland. They're masked. I think these are hired people. Yeah, that looks like a drama student, if I've ever seen one. And this sign, they can literally carry signs through here. Freeland, our deputy PM gravedigger. Oh my God, how mortifying. If you're her. This guy looks like an actor. Like he's auditioning for the Trailer Park Boys or something. There was only one protester that made any sense. This guy.
That oversaw genocide. You stood by complicit. You stood by complicit.
That's the only comment that makes any sense to me. The rest of the people seemed hired. And they're all masked. Look, this one's hysterical. She just doesn't seem authentic. You know, maybe she is. I don't know. I don't know these people. But why are they all masked, all these people? And sometimes when you have something to say and you scream hysterically in a protest, your message gets lost. You get thrown out. You look like the crazy person. But if you stand up, if you protest in a different way, the truckers knew how to protest. We did it with class, right? I mean, that's a classy way to protest. But if you're hysterical and screaming with a mask on and you look like you're auditioning for a movie or something, that's just my sense. I don't know, but that's just my sense when I look at them. Now, some people say that Mark Carney or Carney's team kind of hired these people or planted these people. It can be possible because I've been to protests before, like the Million March for Kids. And I swear the people that were protesting were just screaming out into the ether. They looked absolutely mentally unstable and they would just scream for nothing. They were hysterical. I think groups of protesters were paid to be there. And there's lots of protests that go around where you have paid people that show up and scream and yell and cause a fuss and try to tell you where to go. So I wonder if there's a little bit of that going on. Who knows? The other thing is, as usual, Chrystia has said some ridiculous things, like this, for example.
And I think we all agree it's okay to protest. It's good to protest. It's part of being Canadian.
Oh, really? You think so? Really, Mrs. Freeland? You really are okay with protests when it suits you? All of a sudden, it's okay? You don't have to break out the Emergencies Act or something for some reason? Is there a horse you'd like to? You got a man with a horse that you need to call right now? And here's another, just absolutely, this wasn't even a word salad because she didn't even put anything to mix in this salad. It was just like iceberg lettuce.
You're ready to fight, aren't you? I can feel it. great. That is so, so great. We are ready to fight, aren't we? And so, with your help, we are going to fight.
Oh, God. Gong. If this was the Gong Show, she'd be done. Just whatever. What? Ready to fight? What have you been? You've been in. This is like a Kamala Harris installation or something like that. You've been the deputy prime minister, but crushed us with your stupid economic policies, your capital gains tax, the carbon tax, the COVID restrictions, the destroying people's right to protest during the Freedom Convoy, locking up people in coots, calling it illegal blockades, like all the force injecting people, all the ridiculous things that you and your government did, ruining the middle class, putting in the stupid carbon tax. And now you're saying you're ready to fight. Fight for what? Fight to undo all the crap that you and Justin did to us in the first place? There is so much backpedaling going on here. Here's her answering a question about the carbon tax.
Extol the virtues of both the carbon tax and the rebate. So can you tell us over the past 41 days what has changed in your thinking that the carbon tax is not the right thing to go forward with?
Thanks for the question, Mackenzie.
Thank you for the question, Mackenzie. It's like is he 4? Is he 4 years old? Is this preschool?
And the time.
Oh, here she goes. She's going to slow every word down.
Time has come for us as a government, as a country, to do two things. I think we all know we have to fight against climate change. We all get that. We need to do it for our kids. We need to do it for the planet.
Look at this guy. He's not even that. He's not clapping.
Liberals believe in that, and that is a fight that has to continue. But it is also the case that we need to get better at listening to Canadians and at listening to what Canadians are telling us. And we have heard very clearly from Canadians in provinces where there is a consumer-facing price on carbon that they don't like it.
She literally said there, and they don't like it. It's not that they don't like it. It is stupid. You need carbon in the atmosphere, for God's sake. And this kind of bullshit about, oh, carbon, it's for our future, our carbon emissions is just a whole load of crap that her and Mark Carney push all the time. And it's just a fallacy, a complete fallacy. And I'll show you why in a second. But her answer, they don't like it. They don't like it. We don't like it because it completely financially ruins everything about the economy. And as the former finance minister, you should know how that works. Russia, India, China, the US, none of these countries have a carbon tax, but Canada does. With the smallest population, we contribute so little to carbon emissions, and carbon emissions aren't even that bad. But before I go off on a tangent here, and take a look at Mark Carney. You've all seen what Mark Carney has done. Now he's thrown out reporters that he doesn't like. I believe Mocha Bazirgan was there. And the main one that he threw out was Keenan Bexty from the Counter Signal. I think somebody from the Western Standard also. So we don't like you, so you can't come in. He also surrounded himself with people behind him, none of them, just all brown faces. And I'm a brown face. And even I'm like, you're not pandering to me. I'm not falling for this. And again, he's like this carbon tax hustler.
Back home in Edmonton to declare my candidacy for leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister of Canada.
Not even a politician, this guy. He's part of the steering committee of Bilderberg. He's high up in the WEF, governor of the Bank of England, governor of the Bank of Canada. And he has the audacity to say to Jon Stewart, I'm an outsider, when he was Trudeau's financial advisor in 2020. And what the heck happened in 2020, might we remind everyone? That he is part of the destruction of the economy, ruining your business, the destruction of the middle class. There's nothing more to it than that. Everybody knows about the transfer of wealth right? Walmart, Amazon, the complete destruction of your business as you were farting around. Where do I put this plexiglass? And do people sit outside? People are eating in bubbles outside or eating on the sidewalk or whatever. All of that nonsense was all orchestrated by these people who have this globalist agenda, obviously, right? I mean, people who are part of the WEF, that Young Global Leaders program has been around for decades, and they go every year and they pick the top go-getters under 40 all over the world in every sort of professional field. So that means they go after politicians, people in the media, sports people, scientists, people in the science community, financial people, people in tech. So they covet all these kind of up and coming go-getters to be part of the Young Global Leaders. That's why you see so many of these WEFers that have connections on the website. Apparently, Chrystia Freeland has been removed from the WEF website, or she removed herself. I'm not too sure. But that's why in the past, big names, you see them on the website because they are coveted. And they go through a 3-year, what they call transformation program. So they're in a club. And we ain't in it, right? Angela Merkel, Francois Macron, obviously Trudeau, Biden, Boris Johnson, Jacinda Ardern, all these yahoos were all in the Young Global Leaders. And that's why all this shit could happen all over the world. I try to tell my family that they think I'm wacko when I say these kinds of things, right? But these people are complete installations now. We're not even getting to vote for people. They just show up, turn up, and they're plonked right in there. Like,
I know I'm not the usual suspect when it comes to politics, but this is no time for politics as usual. No, it's not the time for lifelong politicians such as Pierre Poilievre.
Oh, God.
Politicians with bad ideas, naive and dangerous ideas. And I think his worst, is that Canada is broken. Conservatives don't run around saying Canada is broken because they want to fix it.
You broke it.
They want a license to demolish and destroy, including many of the things on which we all and regular people depend, because populists don't understand.
I find it so funny that he calls himself a regular person. He hobnobs with royalty, with the Queen. Somebody put on X that he was on the $20 bill. Regular people. And he is actually gaslighting you right there. When he says stuff like, to say that Canada is broken. These are people that only want to destroy Canada. He's saying that out loud. It's like he's saying the words. He's telling you what he's doing, but he's trying to make it sound like the other guy is doing this awful thing. These are all his plans. It's like somebody completely gaslighting you. He's the bad person. Look at me. I'm the savior. You're not the savior. If you were the economic advisor to Trudeau during 2020, then you are completely instrumental in the downfall and the economic downfall and the destruction of Canada as we know it. And then, but if you want to sit there and say, oh, well, he wants to destroy Canada, blah, 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 blah. It's just, you're just lying. You're putting it out there. You're saying what you're doing, trying to blame the other person. But actually, you're the one doing those actions. Let's just take a look at Carney from back in 2020 with him yammering on about some absolute carbon tax and nonsense. Companies that don't adapt will go bankrupt. You better get on board or you're done.
Which brings me to the second rewiring, which is this energy transition, the net zero transition. This is much, much bigger and moving even faster than most realize. A few years ago, businesses around the world invested 50 cents in clean energy for every dollar they put into fossil fuel energy. Now they invest 2 in clean energy for every dollar in fossil fuel energy. $2 trillion in clean right now. And that ratio is only going to continue to grow because being low carbon is now a fundamental driver of competitiveness. And it's a dynamic that's being reinforced by the AI revolution. Whatever.
It's only because you say so. Only because you say so. this whole like mantra of reducing greenhouse gas emissions and reducing your carbon, while these people, while he shows up in a Rolls Royce, you know, while he flies all over the place, while he says that business is going to need this to function, it's all a load of phooey, because you need carbon in the atmosphere. I mean, it is just a fact. Anybody that goes around, you know, they say, oh, burning fossil fuels and all these emissions, this is what is creating a climate change. No, it fucking isn't. Have a look at someone who knows what they're talking about.
What percent of our atmosphere is CO2? Take your best guess. You don't have to be accurate. All down the line.
Repeat that question.
What percent of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon dioxide? Wild guess, it's okay.
I'll bite 5%.
5?
I'll just follow you then.
Look at these people. They're supposed to be deciding, making rules in the states.
Suggests that we know that transportation causes 49% of CO2, so that's why we're all working on.
You don't even know the numbers.
So what number do you think it is?
5.
5?
If you're in that business, you should know.
I didn't hear you, Mr. Dreyer.
7.
7. Did you have one, Mr. Boyd? The Price is Right.
8. I'm gonna
Okay.
get the high
Totally,
end.
Price is
All
Right.
right. Well, I appreciate that, and I don't mean to put you on ice. I ask a lot of people that because all we hear is climate change, CO2, CO2. I heard a couple of you on the panel saying you're looking to change your vehicles to electric, even though we don't have the electric grid. And me as a farmer, I wouldn't be real happy about running out and replacing $300,000, $500,000, $1 million pieces of equipment because someone wants it to be electric. The answer is 0.04%. Not 1%, not 0.5%. It's 0.04%, and it's gone up from 0.03 over the last couple decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2. If we get below 0.02, plant life starts dying off.
Do you hear that, guy? If you get below 0.002, plant life starts to die off. And right now we're at 0.004, I believe he said. Whatever it is, it's not even, it's a blip. And yet all these carbon tax alarmists like Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney and Trudeau will want to erase you because you are the carbon they want to reduce, right? They want carbon credits and all that kind of thing. Ridiculous. Okay, you've let me ramble on here a little bit, but the whole point of this video, the thing that I think shocked me the most out of all the news that I heard this weekend about Chrystia and Carney was the fact that Carney is the godfather of Chrystia Freeland's son.
The Prime Minister says he's been trying to recruit for years Mark Carney to run for the Liberals. Have you also spoken with Mr. Carney to encourage him to run for the party, and why or why not?
I actually have known Mark for a very long time. Both of us are from Northern Alberta. And I think Mark is a great Canadian. I am really glad that he has come out as a Liberal, and I'm grateful for any support he can offer our party, our government, and our country.
So have you spoken with him?
I speak with Mark often.
About that?
I speak with him often. He's actually my son's godfather.
If you're the godfather to someone's son, so basically, Chrystia is saying, if I die, if my husband dies, if something happens to me, Mark Carney, you are going to look after my son. You're going to raise them, mentor them, make sure that they're okay. You are the godfather. You are the person I am picking to nurture them. You might not love them, but to see them through the rest of their lives if I should die. You only do that to someone you love and respect and trust. You don't just do that to a rando, unless you are kind of crazy and you're just doing that to a rando person. I mean, Chrystia Freeland has 3 children with her British husband. She speaks Ukrainian. It says on Wikipedia that she speaks Ukrainian at home with her kids. Her mother is Ukrainian. She spent time, Chrystia did, in Ukraine as a journalist. I don't know, that's kind of going off on a tangent. But Carney is the godfather. So they must be the closest of people. This is staggering to me, this little bit of information. So how much mudslinging are these two going to do back and forth, I wonder? How mudslingy can it get? I mean, you are essentially then going to be criticizing somebody who's the godfather of your son, and vice versa. If Carney criticizes Chrystia a lot, he's essentially going to be ridiculing or criticizing the mother of his godson. This is disgusting. This is gross. These people are gross. I mean, hopefully we won't see the mudslinging get too bad, but how do you have like a rigorous competition for the liberal leadership in a very peculiar family situation like this? It is just, that's why I think just put in Chandra Arya. Who cares if he can't speak French? Just put that guy in and give him some money. Let's go. Let's go, right? That other guy, Frank Bayless, is so boring. But I found that to be the most bizarre piece of information. I mean, that I found incredible, and their carbon tax backpedaling, the way they enforced it on us, and the way they backpedal. But Carney doesn't really backpedal, and I really hope that they don't just shove him in, that they just put him in, and all of a sudden he becomes a media darling, and that all of a sudden all these Libby libs would start voting for him. I don't think so. I think Pierre is still going to crush him. He's still going to crush it. The momentum is right. But that little weasel's getting in there. I think Christia's going to be out soon because she's just too weird. But anyway, that is my take on this. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm up to, and let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that he'll be completely installed and that they're going to get away with it, and that Pierre isn't going to get in maybe the way we think, or something's going to happen? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching this video today. I'll talk to you later.